Hi, everybody. Welcome to Group 4. I'm Katia Jones.
I am Corolla Rios.
I'm Brittany Ketchum.
I'm Jessica Foley.
And I am Melanie Barner. Today we will be covering two role-playing scenarios, followed by a brief group discussion.
Our first scenario will demonstrate conflict between three employees, one having a disability and a supervisor who demands fast-paced productivity at any cost. The other two employees are hurt by the way that the supervisor treats their coworker who has a disability. They want to help but do not know how. A social worker will be brought in to conduct the common ground technique among employees in order to present their issues regarding the unconducive work environment. During this scenario, each member of the group will be heard and allowed to express their true feelings without being interrupted. In conclusion, the scenario will depict the main purpose of the technique as being the ability to listen intently to both sides of the argument. This technique can be used to start an open dialogue through listening and paraphrasing the message that are being received.
I will be playing the social worker.
I will be playing the supervisor.
I will be playing the employee with a disability.
I'll be playing an employee.
I will also be playing an employee.
Our second scenario will then demonstrate a similar situation where three seasoned employees have struggled under the leadership of a new general manager. The new GM has only been in her position for 6 months now and feels as if she has a lot to prove. A social worker is brought in to teach the concept of nonviolent communication in order to discuss their issues regarding her leadership style. The use of NVC during this scenario allows group members to use nonviolent words and expressions to communicate with each other and connect on an empathetic level. As a group, we feel NVC is slightly more complicated than our first technique because of how we are already our own way in expressing ourselves. However, through practice and research, we were able to present examples of how to appropriately use NVC throughout scenario 2.
During scenario 2, I will be playing the social worker again.
I will be playing the general manager.
During scenario 2, I will be playing employee number 1, and I have been with the company for 5 years.
I will be playing employee number 2, and I have been working with the company for about 10 years now.
And I will be playing employee number 3 and will have been with the company for 2 years.
Throughout both scenarios, group dynamics are evident and authoritative leadership styles are tested. Hopefully by the end of our role plays and group discussion, our audience will be able to fully understand the concept of common ground technique and nonviolent communication. Each scenario should give examples on how to resolve conflict within the workplace where everyone feels heard, or an intervention used through NVC to empathize and build working relationships.
So now we will begin into scenario number 1. The example is Katia is an individual with disabilities. Katia has been working with her company for 3 years, and her supervisor makes comments towards her that makes her feel demeaned. Brittany and Melanie also work for the company and have been impacted by the negativity between Katia and Corolla. Corolla demands efficiency and work done at a fast pace from all of her employees. Katia reached out to her social worker, which will be Jessica, and through her employment agency to assist with her communicating her concerns to her supervisor.
Hello, everyone. We are meeting today for the purpose of conflict resolution. This meeting is not intended to resolve the issues at hand, but instead provide you with the opportunity to be heard by one another. In order to make this successful, I'd like to go over some ground rules. Would anybody be willing to suggest a rule?
Yes, can we be respectful?
Yes, it is important to use positive and respectful language during this exercise. Anyone else?
How about no interrupting?
Very good. Only one person should speak at a time when prompted.
I like confidentiality.
Absolutely. Whatever is discussed in this room should remain in this room. Now, remember, you are not trying to build an argument. Your job is to listen and paraphrase back to the person what you heard them say. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay, one more thing before we get started. I want you all to get ready to show that you're truly ready to listen to and hear one another. This can be done through physical attending. So you want your posture to show that you're present and you're interested. It's also important to make sure your mind's not preoccupied with other thoughts. While other people are talking, you should not be forming a response in your mind. Just listen. Now please try to relax, take a deep breath, and we will begin. Carola, can you please start by talking about your expectations from work?
I expect all my employees to be prompt. I want them to all do their assigned work as soon as possible, and I want it to be done well. I want everyone to follow the rules and to get along.
Thank you, Carola. Okay, Katia, can you speak back what Carola just said?
Yes. I heard you say, Carola, you want your employees to be on time and do all of the work fast. They also need to follow the rules.
Okay, is that correct, Carola?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Katia, can you say what you think Carola's expectations are?
I feel like you expect perfection. There's instances where I need additional time to complete some of the tasks asked of me, but it seems like you're more focused on the task being done quickly.
Okay, Carola, can you paraphrase what Katia is saying?
I heard you say you need additional time to complete some of the tasks given to you.
Okay, Katia, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I can go.
Proceed.
I feel like there's a lot of tension between everyone at the job because we know what the expectations are, but we also know that Katia needs some time to be able to complete some of the assignments. This makes us uncomfortable because we want to help out.
Okay, Carola, can you go ahead and paraphrase back to me what Brittany said?
Okay, so you feel that the workplace is tense because you know that Katia needs more time, but because of my expectations, she does not have that.
Is that correct, Brittany?
Yeah, that's correct.
Pause. All right, guys, as I said in the beginning, it's really important to listen intently. So with that said, we're going to try to pick this back up, and I hope everybody can just be on the same page. So as I was asking, is that correct, Brittany?
Well, I would like to add, Corolla, sometimes you speak to Katia.
Oh, okay, Melanie. I appreciate your input, but in order for this to work, we must refrain from interrupting. I would love to hear what you have to say as soon as it's your turn. Brittany, is what Carola said accurate, or would you like to add anything?
She is correct.
Okay. Thanks for your patience, Melanie. Please continue what you were saying.
Well, Corolla, sometimes you speak to Katia in a derogatory manner when you don't think she is doing the work fast enough.
Carola, could you please repeat back to me what Melanie said?
I speak to Katia in a negative manner when I want the work to be done fast.
Okay. Is that correct, Melanie?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So how about now we talk about ways in which you would all like for this to be resolved. Again, I will let you know this is a form of mediation where everyone can communicate openly, but the end result is not to find a resolution at this very moment. You will have an opportunity to do that after this meeting.
I would like to be given less assignments to complete more time to complete assignments given to me. I feel like I'm very good at my job and I don't want to leave because I feel overwhelmed and overworked.
Okay. Carola, can you please paraphrase back what Katia just said?
Katia, I heard you say that you need more time to complete your assignments in order to feel more comfortable at work.
Okay. Is that correct, Katia?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I want to make sure we are all comfortable in the workplace. If the tension between Carola and Katia is resolved, I feel like things in the workplace will be a lot better.
So there will be a better work environment if things are less tense at work.
Yeah.
I believe that Corolla needs to be more aware of the way she speaks to her employees, especially Katia. I feel it will make her a better supervisor and us better employees.
Okay, Corolla, please repeat back to me what Melanie said.
In order to be a better supervisor, you feel I need to be more conscious of the way I speak.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so does anybody else have anything they would like to contribute?
No.
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 Not at this time.
Great. So in summation, I just wanted to review what we went over today. Katia asked for this meeting in order for us to mediate some of the issues you believe that are occurring in the workplace. Everyone is able to speak about some of the issues and possible resolutions they would like to see. This is a very positive starting point for everyone. Now you can all move forward and try to implement a resolution. Thank you all for coming.
Go. Hi, everyone. This is our second dialogue, and in this dialogue, we are going to use nonviolent communication. We have a social worker who comes into a big corporate sales company. She's been called in because there has been a lot of tension and public fights between the employees. So she's going to try to help them come to a resolution. And this is our nonviolent communication scenario.
Hello, my name is Jessica and I'm the social worker employed by the corporate office. My role is to create a conversation between people and see if we can come to an understanding during hostile or otherwise difficult situations. Let's first start by introducing ourselves. We'll start with you.
Hello, my name is Katia. I am an employee of this office and I have been working here for 5 years.
Hello, my name is Melanie, and I am a senior employee of the office and have been working here for over 10 years now.
And hello, my name is Brittany. I have been employed with this company for 2 years.
Hello, my name is Corolla. I am the general manager of this office. I was hired for this role about 6 months ago.
Great, nice to meet everybody. You have been invited to this meeting because there have been several public disagreements between this group. Furthermore, many of you have self-reported on evaluations that you disagree with your direct management. My goal is to create an open dialogue about the conflict that is occurring using a technique called nonviolent communication. Let me give you a little bit more information on how this technique is used. First, I'd like to hear from the employees about the observable behaviors your manager is doing that's upsetting you. Corolla, for this exercise, I would first like for you to listen to the behaviors very intently. Connect with what your employees are saying, and then I will assist you in formulating a response using this technique. Employees, I would like you to state an observable action your manager is doing that's upsetting you. This behavior cannot be mixed with any of the danger words, which are diagnosis, denial, demand, or deserve. A diagnosing statement implies goodness or badness. Denial implies that we have to do something. Demanding is defined as trying to make someone else do something, and deserving means stating something you feel you have earned. These are considered dangerous because they're judgments. When we use judgments in a conversation, it tends to disconnect us from identifying our own needs and causes the other person to become defensive. It also shuts down their willingness to listen. Katia, let's begin with your observation.
Okay, well, my boss, Corolla, she overworks me.
Okay. Well, that's not a specific observable behavior. Plus, the word overworked is an interpretation of your boss's motives and is not actually a feeling. Let's try that again by naming a specific action.
Okay. Corolla assigned me 5 more clients for me to try to sell the product to.
Yes, that's an observable behavior. Very good. Melanie, it's your turn to name an observable behavior that Corolla is doing.
Okay, well, Corolla makes me feel inadequate.
Okay, I appreciate that you're trying to connect with a feeling, but the word inadequate falls into our dangerous D's category under the denial of responsibility. Inadequate is a judgment based on what you think Corolla's behavior is. We will get to that part when we incorporate our feelings and needs. But for right now, I just want you to name an observable behavior. What is the specific action Corolla does?
Well, Corolla did not give me a grade of 100%. She didn't give it to me on my employee review.
Okay, very good. That's a concrete observation. Brittany, it's your turn.
Well, I think that Corolla talks too much at our sales meetings and doesn't let us say anything.
Okay, I'm going to need you to state an observable behavior without using a judgment. The phrase talks too much is a judgment.
Okay, fine. Corolla talks for an hour at sales meetings and does not ask if we have anything to say.
Yes, that's an observable behavior. Good. Corolla, I know you're listening intently and I want you to continue doing so. You will have time to respond to these statements in just a moment. Katia, Melanie, Brittany, it's now time to connect those observations to our emotions and needs. I want you to tell me how that observable behavior makes you feel. And again, I want to remind you to connect the emotion that does not fall into our dangerous D's category. Then I want you to use that emotion to tell me which need of yours is not being met. In nonviolent communication, we acknowledge that every person has basic needs that need to be met. When those needs are not met, that's when positive or negative emotions are felt. I will give you an example to clarify. So on my drive here today, another driver passed me by at a faster rate than I was going. I felt afraid because my need for safety was not being met. Katia, let's start with you first. Based on your observation of Corolla's specific action, I want you to tell us how that makes you feel. I want you to use the format, I feel blank because my need for blank is not met.
Okay. I feel fatigued when taking on the extra clients because my need for consideration of time spent with my family is not being met.
Very good. That's an emotion clearly linked to an unmet need. Melanie, it's your turn.
I feel upset about the employee evaluation score because my need for self-worth was not met.
Okay, very good. So that takes your observation and it links it with an emotion as well as an unmet need. Brittany, now I'd like for you to try.
I feel annoyed when Corolla talks for an hour at sales meetings because my need for expression at the meetings are not being met.
Okay, very good. That is also an appropriate way to state feelings and needs based on nonviolent communication model. Now we have identified our emotions and linked them to our needs. It's time to turn these unmet needs into requests. These requests will be stated to Corolla and I will then help her clarify the requests. Turning our emotions and unmet needs into a request can be the most difficult component of nonviolent communication and may take some practice. Oftentimes when we are requesting someone else help to meet our needs, we only want them to comply with our request. Compliance should not be the only goal. Our goal with using this technique is to create an open dialogue where we connect with each other and can empathize with the person's response to that request. With that said, I'd now like for you to take the turn to put your need into a request using clear, concise requests. Katia, let's start with your request first.
Corolla, I wish you wouldn't give me so many sales clients.
Okay, Katia, that's a request, but I would like for you to use positive language. It is more beneficial to the openness of communication to make a request for what you do want rather than what you do not want.
Okay, I understand now. I would like for you to delegate some sales clients to other employees so I can spend more time with my family.
Yes, that's clearly requesting a need. Melanie, let's have you make a request based on your unmet need.
Well, I would like to review my employee evaluation with you so I can understand my score on the evaluation better.
Very good. That's a great way to request something using nonviolent communication. Brittany, how about your request?
Corolla, I would like for you to allot 10 minutes of each meetings for me and other employees to share our ideas and opinions.
That is also a great way to utilize this technique to make a request. Now, Corolla, I know you have been listening intently to your employees' feelings and their requests. First, I'd like to ask you, what does the word empathy mean to you?
To me, empathy is being able to relate to what others are thinking or feeling.
Yes, that's absolutely what empathy is. And when we practice this, it certainly helps other people feel understood and shows that you're taking their needs seriously. With nonviolent communication, we want to be present and apply our unique empathy to each situation. Another way we display our understanding of others' requests is by paraphrasing the request for clarity. Corolla, did you understand your employee's request, or would you like to take the time to clarify?
Yes, I would like to clarify a little bit more with Melanie. I'm going to rephrase your feelings and request to make sure that I fully understand what you need from me. Melanie, are you feeling hurt because you would like more appreciation on your employee evaluation for the overtime hours you worked 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that is exactly how I feel.
Okay. If you're available, we can meet in my office Wednesday at 1 p.m. to go over the evaluation together and make remedies as needed.
I appreciate that. You're listening to my request.
Katia, do you feel like I'm giving you more responsibility and you need more self-care? Your self-care is not being met?
Yes, that's how I feel. I really value spending time with my family, and on most days, I am not leaving the office until 6 p.m. My need for closeness with my young children is not being met.
I understand. I have two young children myself, and I will feel unhappy if my need for closeness with my children were not being met. Let me review everyone's caseload on the floor and see